Hey guys, if you're just joining us now, I'll be starting in 1 minute. I'm just gotta put up a couple of links, and here we go. Okay, thanks for jumping on. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday so far. It is just the start of Tuesday for me in my time zone, and so far it's great. I'm just getting some stuff done, jumping on the markets here, and seeing where we're at. It was kind of an interesting day. So far. Where are we here? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start, as always, with the US dollar, and kind of outline a couple of things. Now, this was Monday's trading, okay? And we're now starting to run off into Tuesday here. You can see a couple of pretty significant things happened here from last week's trading to the current time that we're at right now. So, grand scheme of things, we're still in a bullish upward momentum on the US dollar. And nothing in here is indicating that we're going to change that fact yet. Now, if you look here, we came in, whoops, sorry, I just got a message. I was just reading. I have a hard time reading and talking at the same time, as you can see. Yeah, so what you can see kind of, that from my perspective, what I see here is that they failed to take the stops up here. They failed to run these highs. They did come in and wick up into the bodies and get above the bodies of these candles, which for all intents and purposes could potentially be a reversal. Price came up, wicked down, came up one more time, failed to even get above that high, and came and slammed back down. Now you see the bodies of these candles here so far. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them so far have failed to penetrate below this small consolidation level in here. We also came down on Monday and had a very nice long tail on this down candle that just coincidentally took out the lows here. So if we go down to an hourly, we can see price came down on Thursday, stalled, created an equal low, and then traded away. Friday's non-farm basically did absolutely nothing. Wicked up, came back down, finished a little bit higher, so it was a bullish day technically, but still didn't really go anywhere. And then Monday came in and smashed price down, just sweeping these two equal lows here, and so far has traded off fairly aggressively. So, here's the thing. Thursday, Friday, Monday, now into Tuesday. Trading in a range. And that range is basically from here to here. So far, price has been consolidating. Now, we could continue to see this consolidate for a very long time here. Look what price did. Look what the move that price made. The last time it made an equal move was here down to here, and look how long price consolidated for. Now, I'm not suggesting that we're going to have these tight ranges in here. We're going to consolidate indefinitely going forward for for as long as this happened for or anything like that. But we could get a little bit of consolidation happen. Look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is about 10 days, 11, 12. You could call it about almost 2 weeks of trading here. That price consolidated after a nice bull run up here. This was twice the move, and so far we've been consolidating 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So we could potentially have another week and a half, who knows, maybe 2 weeks of consolidation coming ahead of us. So the thing is, I think they're still going to take these highs. They tried to do it here and failed, came back down, and so far have failed to go any lower. Now, I've said it a couple of times here. If price fails to get any lower, you know what? I'm even going to say this low here, like 93.20. Just for argument's sake, we'll just use that number. If price comes down here and starts to take out this low, then we're going to start coming back down here and re-challenging these areas. To be honest with you, I don't know. This could be the low here. This Monday low right there, that could be the low very easily of the week, and price could trade up, or again, it could consolidate. That would kind of be my line in the sand. This low under this candle here, if price comes down and starts wanting to go below there, we're probably going to see price run lower. And I'd almost venture to say that if price were to come back down under this candle right here, this one down candle right here, that will probably end up seeing lower prices. For sure down into this area right in here. That's kind of my thoughts on it. So right now there's not a whole lot to talk about other than that they could keep driving price up. There's definitely areas up here, and there's definitely areas above here where liquidity is sitting. They scooped it up down here and rejected. And I think it was only by like 2 pips. Or, I'm sorry, 2 pips, 5 pips. So, anyway, all I'm trying to say is not a whole lot going on here right now. Price hasn't done anything. It's been going up and it's been going down in a sideways consolidation. Ran the stops here, ran the stops here. Where's it going now? Honestly, I mean, higher or lower, it's equal game. You gotta see something here though. Price is definitely in an oversold territory. Then this is definitely in a premium market. Price is a lot more expensive than what it was offered down here. And so when price typically goes up to levels like this, it gets very oversold, and it wants to by default come back down to lower prices to rebalance. Maybe their goal is to go higher, and we're pushing, up into here potentially up to 98. That could be on the radar screen. But in order to get there, they got to come back down and they got to scoop up some stops under the market. So that's my thoughts on the US dollar. Moving on to the Euro USD. As a side note, I'm moderately bullish. I think we could see, there's a slight chance, just because of this rejection here and this rejection here, we could see price start to run higher. That's just kind of my thoughts. For sure taking out this high here. That's where I think we could be going, if price continues to keep running like this. But I wouldn't want to see price break, see these consolidation area in there. I don't want to see price break this level in here. That would be it. If price, I'd permit price to trade softer from here, basically create, you know, two equal highs of what it's doing right here. And I'm really overanalyzing the US dollar because it is of utmost importance, obviously, here. I know you're probably sitting here beating it to death. But I'd like to see, if price did want to trade back south, that, you know, this area would be some measure of support, and we would see price rebound from there. But if price breaks there, then we're going to go lower, 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 lower. So just keep that in mind. We'll probably start to see some support in this area in here, though, if price does want to trade lower. But it could just be one of those days where they just start running price right out the get-go. As soon as London Open comes in, Asian rain gets finished, and they just start ding, 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 all the way up. You know, that could be what we're seeing here. The reverse is going to be true on the Euro USD and the pound dollar as well, too. Should see London set the low of the trading day. Not possible. So the same type of idea with the euro. You can see the failure up in here, and it really did trade into this small consolidation area right here. Not so much the bodies, but it got into the wicks there. In my opinion, it's a very balanced price range in here, so any move higher would be a move higher because the bulls are now in control. But I think that I'd be surprised if this candle were closed higher. They may violate it and they may come up and wick higher than that. But I think price would probably reject pretty quickly and want to come back down. Yeah. Where was I at here? Sorry, yeah. So Euro USD, like I say, if they did want to come up, there is a little bit of area above here that they could want to come in to, and I'm kind of thinking, see these equal lows in here with these candles right there? This consolidation area comes in, and price kind of bangs in here for about 3 days. A very strong port of support, a very strong area of resistance would be kind of where these candles started to open and close. And that would come in at, can't get the tag to come up here, so it's 117.66 basically. So you could call it 117.65-ish, somewhere in there. I would permit price to go up to there, and if it goes any higher than that, then it'll be a run. It'll be a run higher for more liquidity above the market. So I would think, though, if it does come up to that area, it will reject and probably want to trade back down. Now, on the downside, big rejection on the weekly candle here, and so far price has put a bit of a rejection out on, you know, again, this is Monday's trading and the start of Tuesday, so not much to go off of yet, but very balanced price coming down here, and I think there are more areas lower. You know, this 114.85 level, this blue line that I've got right here, that would be the first area for a target on the downside. Be about 200 pips from now, or from here. On the downside, that could be the target, and there are a few areas lower that could be targets as well too, if that is indeed their target, or they're indeed, what am I trying to say here? If that is indeed their direction, is to continue to push this thing lower. Now, just keep in mind, if the US dollar does, push higher, we'll see that drop in there fairly easily. But if we start to see consolidation in this pair, then we could see something similar in the Euro USD, especially the Euro USD. And so just keep that in mind. But we were watching for that one. Down on the hourly, again, same type of idea. Monday created a bit of a high here. Tuesday's been selling off. Bit of a head and shoulders pattern that you can see. I'm not a huge believer in these, but you can kind of see head and shoulders pattern in here that's creating. So I would kind of assume potentially maybe a return even up to here to clear those equal highs. See these equal highs? Equal high 1, equal high 2. Could see price run up, briefly fail, and then continue lower, and we'd probably be targeting somewhere down in this range down here, just kind of as a day trade. That's a ways away again. Sorry, I should have said a day trade. That could be more of a 2-day trade on the euro. It surprised me before. I've seen the euro run 120 pips in a daily range, but it's not too often. But I'd definitely be targeting this low right here as a potential target. So we'll watch for that. Pound dollar could be the same similar idea. Again, price, so last week we saw price come in, create a low, traded off of that low, came back down, loaded up some longs, and came higher and took out the stops above here, and almost all the way up, but it's failed obviously to reach up into here. And so we'll have to see what happens here. So far, price is creating a bit of a bullish run. Came in, created a low, traded higher, created a higher low, came up so far, created another higher low, and so far we're just kind of trading sideways since then. But now I think this pair here, like I was saying to you, price had a nice reaction off of this level right here on Monday, shot right back up, and now so far price has been failing to get any higher. If price on the Euro GBP decides to come smashing back down, there's a very good case that the pound dollar could continue higher. But if we do see this thing kind of, put in kind of a sideways day, then we could see that manipulation happen on the pound dollar, and we could see this run lower. So just keep that in mind. But what I'd be looking at for, if it'd be the same type of trade on the euro, see price come up into here and just kind of wick through or run through some of these highs in here, and maybe potentially even up to the weekly open, somewhere in and around here, or even up to this small consolidation in price right in this area here. We could see price run up to. So I'll just dog take a couple of these, and we'll watch for price, or this guy right in here. Is kind of what I'd be going for. 133.30-ish and 133.40 would be kind of the levels I'd be looking at. So if we do see something like this happen, price coming in, sitting here, could go sideways, could go up, could go down, I would be looking for this to happen, something kind of in that range. I'd be targeting this low here. Now, the only reason I'd be looking for a short would be just because of this breakdown here. If the US dollar didn't do this, where it came down and scooped these lows here, I would honestly say I'd be expecting higher prices on the pound dollar. But you can see coming down here how price is very well balanced. The only ranges that I think would be targeted above price are these guys up in here. These here and here and here, and then the ultimate highs up here. I believe that this range in here and this whole range down here is a very, very balanced range in terms of price action. And I think once the tide starts to shift on the pound dollar, that they'll really push higher, and it'll easily get through this consolidation area, and then we can start targeting highs up in here. You know, a couple equal highs back in here, consolidation area lows, you know, those would be the targets on the upside, same thing into here. But I think we got to convincingly get through this range in here. So I'm not going to be bullish personally. I'm not going to be bullish on the pound dollar until price breaks this level in here. And that pretty much comes in at, come on, the highs there. So yeah, you know, 13600. If price on the pound dollar breaks 13600, I'd be bullish, and I'll be buying all the way back up here because it'd be a reversal, trend reversal. This down here though, again, it looks like the start of a good trend reversal. However, the US dollar, I'm not convinced that the US dollar is done going up. So that's kind of why I believe that we could see further downside to the pound dollar. And you know, I'm not suggesting that we're going to see it happen, you know, for indefinitely. Like, I don't think we're going to start trading back under here or anything like that. But you know, on the daily, there's lots of areas below price right now where, you know, it could be a potential for price to go down to. And one of the big ones would be right in here. You see these lows in here, low, 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 low right there. And see how they, when they were running it up, they never came back to take the stops at all. They just ran it higher. The only stops that they had run would be right here. See how they came up, traded up, made a new high, came all the way back down, took out some lows there, and then aggressively traded off of that. They didn't do that here. They kind of sideways stepped price for a few weeks, and did not come down and convincingly take any of these lows. So I definitely think this is an area where price could run to, and I'm going to grab this guy, and I'm going to go like so, basically, and call it about 130 big figure. 1.300 big figure. That's kind of what I'm looking for on the downside. Well, sorry, it'd be lower than those lows. Honestly, it'd be probably right in about here. Maybe a stop of a run of about 10 to 20 pips, and that would be pretty much where my target would be on the downside. So again, you know, if that US dollar shoots higher, it could be very, very easy to trade back down to there. And that's only 300 pips away, so that's not very far. They could easily do that. We're going to find out, I think, this week. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to happen this week, that they're going to probably run this down. If the US dollar keeps trading sideways, they could manipulate several foreign currency pairs. And I'll tell you what, one of those ones that they're manipulating right now is the Aussie dollar. You can see this guy here. This thing's just bullish, bullish, bullish. Where the US dollar should be pushing this thing down, this has been running up. So some strength on the Aussie. I've talked about this before. This is nothing new, guys. We'll probably see a bit of a bounce. You can see here, price came in, hit the highs in here, and the bodies of the candle basically just finished off kind of right down in this consolidation area right here. Probably see price trade softer, you know, for Tuesday, going into Tuesday maybe. The Aussie does have a interest rate announcement, and I'm just, give me 1 second, let me pull that up. It may have actually already, I can't remember if it was on Tuesday or if it was on Aussie dollar. Okay, so it actually just took place here about an hour ago. Yes. That's probably this candle right here. So that just happened. So the Aussie rate statement, and then there's some more Australian news. There's some GBP news later on in the evening on Tuesday. So they're pushing the Aussie around for sure. But what I'd be interested in this pair is seeing if price has any willingness to get back down to these old highs right here. And I would potentially be looking for a run higher from there, and this area in here to act as support. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to clean this chart up a bit. It's kind of driving me nuts. So, like I say, that could be some areas of interest in there for you. I'll be watching Aussie to see how much weakness it's got. and we'll see if it has any willingness to get down. You see basically those two equal lows there. See if it wants to come down. I said two equal lows, two equal highs here, basically right in there. See if price wants to get down into those areas there and potentially see some support and a rebound higher. Because this whole area up in here, see this consolidation area up in there? That would be the target. And then look at these two beautiful highs right in there. They're just begging somebody to come up there and swing price up into that area. So that would be the target, and that would be a beautiful trade. If you could get in the long down here and target a couple of pips above there, it's 200 pips. That would be a great trade on the Aussie for a weekly range. So we'll be watching for that one. I'll be honest with you, I think I'll probably put a signal out for that one here pretty quick, pending buy limit. And then your stop would be if you got long there, I would suggest your stop would need to be somewhere in this neighborhood, even 75.35, I would say. So if that was your entry at 75.93, it's going to give you a bit of a bigger, call it 75.90. It would give you a big stop, so you'd have to obviously adjust your risk accordingly. That's a 55 pip stop. It's, you know, that's a little bit bigger than normal, so you just have to adjust your risk accordingly. But I wouldn't want to make it too tight just in case they decided to come down a little bit deeper. You know, watch 75.90 obviously. And actually, I'd watch these highs in here as well too. They could have a tendency to act as support, so we could see a bounce off of there as well. But just keep that one in mind. If you start to see price gather a little bit of strength and start to hit, you know, maybe even start to do some wicking happening where the bodies aren't going in lower and it's just putting in wicks, that would kind of be your opportunity to get long, and then you could ride that out. So you just watch for that. But we'll probably see this price trickle down here for the next few hours, and maybe sometime New York we might get some kind of a setup. It would have to be another 30 pips, 40 pips or so before price would come down there. Yeah, 30 pips or so. So we can watch for that. But that's I don't want to make this a long session, guys. I'm trying to get away from super long trading sessions, just because you can pretty much pick out a couple of ideas and run with them. And this would be one idea. Like I say, the pound dollar could see, if we kind of see price pushing up here now. I'd like to see price go in here and potentially get along at 133.30, and then I'd be targeting this area down here. You can easily put a stop at 133.60. I'd maybe just give yourself a 5 pip buffer, 133.65. If you got in at 133.30, if you got in at that, I'd give yourself an extra 5 pip buffer. Or you can wait, maybe price will push a little bit deeper than that. I wouldn't go too deep. Maybe might even come up to this low rate here, which would be 133.44, 45. So you could wait for that as well too. Watch to see what price does in that area, and then get short. And I would probably target on a nice daily range, probably the low on Monday. If price is going to start slamming lower, sorry, I said Monday. This was Friday's range. If price is going to slam lower, it should take out this Friday range here fairly easily. So we can put that. What's that Friday low? 132.50. Let's call it. So that would kind of be what I'd be looking for. But we'll see here. So that's about all I got, guys. Crude oil is going to see continued weakness. We already know that. I cannot fathom that they would start to run price in this area, or start to run price higher. I would imagine we'll probably see another symmetrical swing down, which would again bring us under this low rate here, and could gather up some longs from there. I'd really like to see if they sweep these lows here and get down to this 60 big figure level. So I think that's what's probably going to end up happening here next. So if you are a crude oil trader, don't go long on crude. you're probably going to get beaten up. So I would, maybe look at taking some short positions or sitting on your hands and waiting, because again, this is the big thing. The trend is your friend. You should be trading with the trend. You can certainly counter trend trade. I do it all the time. But for longer term moves, the bigger, more powerful moves are obviously in the with the trend, and so I'd be looking for longs to ensue. So that's kind of what I'd be looking for. That's about it. I'll breeze through a couple other ones. Nothing really on Bitcoin or any cryptos that I'm watching, apart from what I had mentioned before. We'll probably see price rolling over. Nat gas is trading a little bit weaker. I'd like to see Nat gas come back down to our buy zone down in here. Once it does, I'll talk to you guys about that one again. Sugar had a couple of big down days. Big down days on sugar. And I believe we could start to see some support in here. I'm really hoping we do at 1168. I'll probably be looking for price to start to balance out in here, and we'll see what happens. This is a pretty deep sell-off, so I got to double check on some fundamentals and see what happened on sugar, because I haven't been watching the sugar market too much since last week. So I'll be watching for that, and I'll give you some signals here on what I think is happening with sugar, but I'm still very bullish. This was a big move higher, and they typically will push these types of moves out right before another big move ensues. And so this just could be a brief pullback. Now, if price gets down and starts to get into this area in here, just be careful, because they could want to start shooting for these lows right here. So I'm going to be watching for a bounce in this area, and if it does continue to go lower, I'll let you know, and we'll hold off on the long ideas until price stabilizes again. But I'm looking for up here. I'm looking for a move right up into this area up in here, this big blue line, and that would be a big move on sugar. So anyway, that's about it, guys. I wanted to keep it kind of short. I don't want to beat the horse to death. I think we could see an extended consolidation range in the U.S. dollar. I mean, I say that now, and maybe price will shoot up and clear out these highs into Tuesday, or not. I don't know. But I believe that's what we'll probably end up seeing. If not, price will slowly push higher here. But there's not much in the way of news. There's ISM news coming in at 10 a.m. New York time, so a bit later in the day, New York, we might see some action happening there. And then there's some pound sterling news happening at 4:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. New York time. And a little bit of medium impact CAD news. But that's about it. It's a pretty quiet news day. Late in the day, Euro, and obviously late in the day, Aussie, which we'll be watching again. So that's pretty much about it. I think I've given you guys enough to work with here. If we do get consolidation in the U.S. dollar, the euro would definitely consolidate hard, and then they'd be moving the pound. So just keep that in mind, guys. Kind of what they did here. You see this? You see how price is consolidating in here, and then we had a nice bull run up. The euro did the opposite, consolidated in here and had a nice bear run down. The pound dollar, it just pushed higher, all up in here. So they manipulated this currency. So I'd expect them to probably do something similar, especially because the other thing too is this was a nice pullback, of course. Consolidation in here, and then they just have really been stair-stepping this thing down. They haven't really been going with a lot of velocity as much as the euro has. Look at this euro. Look at this euro. It's just been smash down. And the pound hasn't really been doing that. Yeah, it's been falling as well, but it hasn't been falling at the magnitude of the euro. So I think this big area in here could be, a target. Underneath here could be a big target. So anyway, that's kind of what my thoughts are. I kind of even like 133. Let's say you got a short off at 133.30. I kind of like 132 That's about 100 and, what would that be? That's about 130 pips from an entry, so it'd be a good daily range, that's for sure, on the pound dollar. But we'll see how that goes. But I do like how price sold off here. It's been consolidating. Yeah. So anyway, there's the pound dollar. There was, I didn't even look at US CAD. I'll be honest with you, I'm not too interested in US CAD right now. I'll come back to that one. I'm going to let the price pan out a little bit on US CAD, and I'll come back to that one. Crude, you can short this market. Aussie, again, I'm looking for this to happen, a bounce and a run higher. And then I'm looking at this sugar again here, just because we could get an opportunity in here. So that's it. That's one. That's the pound. That's the Aussie. Crude. Sugar. That's probably enough for one day. Just some quick analysis, guys. Copper. Watch these levels. That comes into mind. This is, don't trade this, guys. This is ugly, 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 ugly. If price fails to get any higher than here, you could short it. As I say, don't bother trading it. Look how prices come down. Created a higher low here than here. Created a high, traded weaker. Came down, equal low. And been trading sideways since. And then it's just created a bunch of equal lows right in here. And then we've got these equal lows down here. I'd have a propensity to the downside on copper personally. Just until these areas get fulfilled, and then we could push higher. But kind of interesting this here. Don't trade this. I'm just, if you had a demo account, you could maybe take a short here, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day here. I appreciate your time if you've come in, and Dave will be in on Wednesday morning, first thing, doing the New York session. I might even jump on for a quick New York session as well too, in about 6 or 7 hours from now. We'll see how that goes. If not, I'll be with you in the charts though, posting charts on the Telegram chat room, and maybe a few on Instagram and Twitter as well too. So if you're not part of our membership group, you can take advantage of those as well. And for all of our paid members, you'll probably be getting some signals here pretty soon. We'll see how price develops here moving forward here, because there is some pound dollar news coming up here in about 2.5 hours. So we'll be watching for that. So with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Dave will be in again, as I say, on... Sorry, I think my audio just dropped out there for a second. Dave will be back on Wednesday morning to trade the New York session. He'll be doing gold and S&P. And he actually put out a, speaking of Dave, he actually put out a nice gold trade here today as well too. Just curious. Give me a second here. Just opening up a demo account. Oh yeah. Nice little trade here. So just slide this over. This is a demo account that all of our analysts do trade and take trades in, so you can kind of see price happen as it's live. Dave got into a sell here at well, I don't know what that level that is. Yeah, I do. 1297. He got short, and a nice target down here. This should be a great trade when it pans out. So far, it's showing some real nice weakness in here, and you can see how the price is just nice stepping down, and these lows in here are going to be targeted. This is going to be a nice little swing trade, little multi-day swing trade here. Could come to fruition at the end of the week. So great trade. So if you guys remember, you'd be getting nice trades like that. And then there was another trade as well too that went out today for the NZD yen, the Kiwi yen basically. That we banked, I think, 30 or 40 pips on that one as well too today. So it's been a good day of trading. We're hoping that to continue into Tuesday. And again, we've got some areas to look at here for a couple of different pairs. So we'll see if those come to fruition. And like I say, I'll probably might jump back online in the morning and do a New York Open trading session, but we'll see how that goes. If not, I'll definitely be with you guys via charts, and Dave will be in on Wednesday. So we will talk with you then. Hope you have a great day of trading on Tuesday. Take care, guys.